mom and I to also heal through this process too. What better way than to put your hands into the tierra and to try to nurture, right? And to also give back. And process it makes sense, right? When you folks were fighting for toilet paper and water at Costco, and we were like, what's going on in the world? People were really sick, and so we felt it was important to turn to the land for something like this. So I know that each and every one of you here have your own journey and connection to the land in some way, or to the food source in some way. Whether you need to eat something, right, to be able to survive. That's like basic instinct. And without that, if you don't heal your bodies, right, eventually you get to an age where it's gonna start playing out even more, right? So I'd like to start out first. I want to turn it over to them. I'd like to start out first by having my mom maybe talk a little bit about, and we have our article here, and it's accessible, but just to talk a little bit about your experiences with learning first. How did you learn about growing anything, right? And I think we've gone into classrooms, and one of my experiences is doing this advocacy work when we were kindergartners, where we go in there and we'll put like tomatoes on the table. I remember that story. And we ask them, where does it come from? And they're like, the supermarket, right? My mom's refrigerator, right? But none of these kids said land, a seed, a plant, and what that says is that's a little scary, right? There's a disconnect, right, with your food. And so that sets us for that journey of, okay, you need to learn where your food's coming from, right, and what you're putting in your body. So maybe you can talk a little bit about what inspired you to get, how did you learn about this knowledge?
Well, first of all, thank you so much, and I appreciate it. They give us the opportunity to come and show us. I'm very grateful to that. This is a long story. I'm so grateful and thankful to my grandma. At the early age, she taught me how to grow my own food. And not only that, but to cure my body through herbs and medicine. I come from a family of ancestors, native, that they cure themselves with herbs and medicine. Okay. Did they hear me in the back? Okay, thank you. Yes, I grew that with my grandmother, and then through my mother too. So all my family, we have that beautiful tradition of how to work with Mother Earth, because like Dr. Lani Kapchoy said, we all need food to eat, so we have to learn that. So what happened to this program? Thanks to Miguel Angel, my beautiful student, that came with the idea that to do a garden in the school. And I said, a garden in the school? It cannot be possible, because the students go to school to learn math and reading and writing, but not gardening. So we did that, because I had that knowledge as a young girl, how to grow and how to nurture the plants. So there's so much to talk about this program, a lot, that it would take me probably the whole day to be telling you what we went through. I don't know if you noticed in my film, my voice was kind of sad, because it was in the worst moment for that filming that, putting that film, because I was going through, not only me, Dr. Kapchoy and myself, and Mr. Garza, which is the other co-founder of this program. We were going through a lot, through all those policies that they have in school, all those people that really don't believe in giving opportunity to the students. They think that only learning math and writing is important, but they did not think about the health. At that time in Bell Gardens, there was a high percentage of diabetes among the students and parents, and that worries me. So we thought about why not build that garden and teach the students how to grow their own food, because a lot of them live in apartments, and a lot of people think, well, I don't have a big piece of land to grow vegetables. You don't need that. You can see it in a crack how we grow the garden. Mother Earth is so beautiful and gentle to us that we can grow in any place. But just to let you know that while we were going through to the policies in the school, there was the main person was the superintendent, Mr. Pell. He did not want us to have a place for the kids to grow in there. Practically, we went in there, even though my my students said that they lent us a piece of land. No, they did not give us the land. We took it. We took it because they did not want us to give us the land. So we went there and just said, this is gonna be our place and we're gonna do it. Doesn't matter what they say. So they talk a lot of things that did not true. They said that I was stealing the money, that my daughter went over there because later on she became a board member from the district, and they thought that she was giving me thousands of dollars. There's a lot of horrible things. And when I went to approach the superintendent, because my students were outside, sitting down in a ground, in a heat, and a rain and everything, and there were so many classrooms empty, they did not want to give us one for the students to go after school and use the classrooms. So when I went to talk to him, I tell him, please, I need a classroom for my students because they deserve a desk and a chair to sit down in front of the computer, do some research on the plans, just like the regular students from the day. He said, no. Take your illegal students, wet bags, get them out of the school. That was the word for this man. From there, it was a war completely. So we went through this program with a lot of struggles, a lot of fighting for that. Until my daughter became a board member, then the things came a little better. And that's when we have farmers market and do that. But would I do it again at this age? I'm 80 years old. Would I do it again? Yes, I will do it again from the beginning. Because working for community, working with students, working with people, it's not easy. It's not easy, you have to fight. So I'm gonna stop right here because I wanted to leave. I have so many things. And this is the first time, I want you to know, this is the first time that I talk about the problems that we have in the district. Because I always focus on the good things for my students. The beautiful things that it came out from my students. And so today I said, this is the last time probably I'm gonna be in public talking about this program. And I wanna say that it wasn't easy, but we did it. Okay, thank you.
Funny story for those of you that are sleeping. I used to call Miss Capchoy Miss Ketchup. Because I came here when I was 11. My mom is 88. She's right here in the audience. And then my sisters are here too. I'm the youngest of 15 children. And so coming into LA from a rancho in Jalisco, obviously I was scared. I was terrified, not knowing the language. I'd never seen so many cars, believe it or not. You can laugh, it's okay. It was truly a jungle for me. And meeting Miss Capchoy, I remember I couldn't pronounce her last name, so I was like, Miss Ketchup, y ya, you know? You know how Latinos, Mexicanos, especially from, okay, I see you guys going like, yeah, we know. Apodamos a todo el mundo, so I'm like, Miss Ketchup, y ya, y se le quedó Miss Ketchup. So I remember, I used to hang out with Pedro, Joaquin, Jasmine, just my schoolmates, the ones that we didn't speak the language, so we're like, oh, tú hablas español, vente, you know? So we used to kick it, hang out. Back in 1991, 92, right? And I remember I just came up to her and we're like, you know, I think and I want to first highlight the fact that not only she's always been a mother, but a teacher as well. Even me knowing this information of how hard it was to actually give us the space, give us permission, you know, to do something that turned out to be a blessing for hundreds, if not thousands of families now. But back then, I just went up to her and I'm like, you know what? I guess she saw us sad or struggling to adapt, depressed probably. And we're like, we want to plan some, you know, we want to do something after school. Because if you remember the early 90s, it was tough growing up in Bell Gardens and just Montebello District period. Southern California was horrible. So what happened is she picked us up. It was a group of 4 or 5 of us, and we took a piece of it was the back of a bungalow, I remember, right? And literally, I mean, I knew how to do it because I'm from a rancho, so I knew exactly what to do and how to do it. We would carry buckets of water because they wouldn't even give us a hose to bring water to the garden, and it became a thing. And what I want everybody to walk away today knowing is that not only is it important for you to know where your food comes from, for you to know how to grow it, but for you to connect the way, or at least it's an invitation, the way we did, because it really healed us. It really brought a sense of community, a belonging. And we didn't know that it would be a farmers market program statewide, yada yada. We were just kids trying to adapt into a new country with the love and care of Miss Ketchup. That's where everything started. I think that from there, thanks to the struggle and the challenges that her and Mr. Garza and other teachers, and then later Lani Kapchoy picked up on it, and now it became a wonderful program. I remember when I got the call from Miss Lani Kapchoy saying, Miguel, you, I don't know if you know this, but remember the farmer's market? And I'm like, see? I mean, I was like, what? I didn't know that it was now a program that was awarded the Golden Bell Awards. And I remember I just kind of sat down and I started crying because and I'm not trying to inspire anybody here, I hope you are walking away inspired, even though if you came for extra credit, which I get it, I did a lot of this for extra credit, but you know what? You never truly know the impact your decision will have on people's lives. What's this kid's name? The Ilder. Full circle, guys. So I have two nephews with autism. They were born about 20 years ago. I didn't know back in 1992 that one day I would be a 44-year-old young man. Nobody called me senor, okay? I'm at that age in which I'm like, what, senor? Who are you talking to? But you know what? Full circle. Now these kids, seeing Elder back in 2017 when the film came out, I knew my nephews and they were 12, 13 years old. They were Elder's age. And I thought, wow, life really comes back and hands it right back to you in a form of a blessing. And so thank you for making this film, Lani. It truly means a lot to me, to Miss Ketchup, and to all of you.
Elder became a chef.
Oh, Elder became a chef, right? I know. Isn't that cool?
And that's why when I see him, I start crying. You never know what's gonna be.
Yeah. So I don't know if what do we do? Questions? Anybody has a question or a comment? You feel free to ask anything.
I got a,
Échale.
well, I don't know if it's a question or a comment. My name's Jackie.
You want the mic?
I'm pretty loud.
Maybe stand?
Okay, I'll stand.
Okay,
Well,
thank you.
I mean, thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for the work you're doing for our youth. You know, I'm a plant person. I'm also from Northern California. You know, Stockton, Modesto, right, you know, where Cesar Chavez and that movement took place in the 60s. So I know the value of like being in an agricultural town. Like, we weren't necessarily expected to go to college, you know, and even I understand what you're saying, like the difficulty. There was an article where our school principal put out about that, you know, we were like destined for no, I don't like being well, we're like destined for you know, we weren't college bound. So one of the things that I've noticed about being a plant person is like the amount of focus it can give someone. And this is I'm sorry, I don't like being amplified. Did you notice, like, with the students that their like their mental health or like their focus started to really improve? Because I know you talked about nutrition, but I think that when someone, you know, starts working on something like a you know, a plant or a garden, is that it can really have like really healing properties. And did you notice anything like their school performance improving, or have you guys thought about doing that sort of study?
Oh, well, because this was an after-school program, and the principal and some of the teachers, we have a lot of support from some of the teachers, but not everyone. So they never talked to us. Practically, the garden club was abandoned. They did not pay attention to that. The only thing I can tell you is what happened in our classes as a garden club after school. The students not only not only autistic kids like elder, but some shy students that they cannot, they feel like they being bullied by other ones because they're doing gardening or because they're not doing good in school, in the classroom. So they kind of feel being in a corner. Those are the students that they used to join the club. Why? Because in the club, they feel like this is who I am. I can be comfortable in the garden. And they feel very comfortable. And then they perform good in classroom because later on, not only we are doing gardening, we are helping them with after school homework. So we used to ask them, how are your grades? How are you performing in the classroom? Are you having difficulties with reading or writing? And Mr. Garza and I were helping them with that. So yes, it wasn't 100% on students, but some of them. Another student would come and tell us, I wanted to join your club because I don't have a place to go after school and I don't want to hang around in the street. And maybe, some not, somebody probably pick them up and go and do something wrong in that, what happened to those kids that in the street. A lot of them will say, I'm very shy, I don't know how to speak with people, so we used to do public speaking. They used to go in front of the classrooms, like the way we are right now, and talk to them, and that's why they used to go and develop speaking. So our program wasn't only gardening, was everything that the students needs to survive.
It was social skills, it was, but to answer your question, it should be a study. Somebody here has influence to do this because it helped me. As a young 12-year-old gay kid, coming from a rancho, I had all the probably, negatives against me, not speaking the language, being undocumented, yada, yada, yada. This was a safe space for me. And again, it's a combination of, because we all know teachers that just don't care about you, they just kind of want you to pass the class. Some people are going like, yeah, I know a few. I hope not here at Cal Fidelity, right? But you know what? It definitely helps. And I don't want to sound like a crazy, but for those of you here, okay, try to just take off your shoes and walk on grass and feel the impact it's gonna have on your body. Some of you out here, if you're having a bad day, no lie, I'm not gonna send you to hug a tree, which you should. But I'm gonna ask you to just put your hands in soil. ¿Cómo se dice arar la tierra again? Because back in 2017, I didn't know, I still don't know. When you sow the land, okay, when you put your hands in it, yes, use tools, right? You don't want to get your hands cut, or like me with black stuff on your nails. But definitely go on it, hands on, and you're gonna see what it gives you. Because she said it, we've heard it. Jan on the video, on the short film said it, that one of the teachers, let's heal the planet so the planet can heal its inhabitants. And I think that's what this movement is all about. That's what we want you to walk away. Okay? So it should be a study because it helped me and it helped all of the other students focus.
I think just another quick point too is Bell Gardens, not to knock it, right? But 1990s, it was very gang infested.
Yeah.
Right, not that it isn't today, but you couldn't leave your house after 5 o'clock, right? That was the reality. So a lot of these students, if they weren't in some kind of after-school club, they probably most likely would have been killed.
And unfortunately, let's not forget Rodney King and what happened.
Right.
So, because I had just gotten here, not speaking the language, and then I see LA burning. So I just want you to have that mental picture of this kid, and my mom didn't speak the language, my sister didn't, no, none of us did, and so we was panic mode. So it not only, and then this fight against one race and the other, people against people, it's just crazy. So don't fall for that. Definitely stick to, growing your own plants and food and eat it and be healthy.
And the other thing too is the students, I know we talk about this movement being created by Mexican immigrants, right? But we've had a lot of Central American students as well that have really contributed to the movement. And their families would come and work in the gardens too. So you'd see like abuelitas with their kids working in the space, right? And they would take the vegetables home with them.
In that picture that you saw, obviously you don't know who I was, but I know who I was on the very first picture. And then there's a bunch of kids there, all blurry, typical in the 90s. Lindsay Cox was one of my friends, and she was from Guatemala, who also didn't speak English, who had just come as an immigrant, And so it's important to highlight somebody like that because it wasn't just us Mexicanos indocumentados back then. It was a bunch of us from different places that would come together and go bother Miss Ketchup.
Are there other questions? Yeah, here and then go. Can you just, whatever is comfortable.
Thank you.
The microphone is just.
I don't know much about the program, obviously. Do you guys hope or plan to expand it beyond just the Montevideo school district?
You want me to answer? So we've had, do I use this? I'm loud, I'm naturally loud. Can we hear me back there? Yeah. Okay, yeah. So we've tried different instances where we've had other school districts, like Linwood Unified came up to us at one point, LA Unified came up to us at one point, where they asked us to start creating gardens there. But unfortunately, what happens in these programs is you need people power to run it. And not only that, these programs, I know you see, this is where I'm gonna give my mom the glory moment. That woman was in that garden 24/7. It takes like a day, without getting paid, that's what I'm trying to explain to you. It takes a lot to wake up early in the morning, be working with students, making sure that everything is ready to go, so that it can grow, because otherwise children get disappointed when their programs don't grow, right? So it takes a lot to run that program, like on one level. We had it in all 22 schools in the school district, right? So 22 schools with different emphasis, high schools, elementary, intermediate, and then to have it in other school districts. So it takes a lot of dedication, but it takes money to pay people to water, to care to, right? And it's not a lot of money, to be honest, but our school districts unfortunately have not put money aside to focus on that kind of work, right? It's more, the funds are being allocated into other things, so it's really run on volunteer people power, when you really think about it. So that's what's amazing about the movement, that even my dad was in there, like, building things. I mean, everybody was involved in some way. It was a real community effort. So we have had other school districts that have invited us to try to build those gardens. They went for a little while, but not to the point of selling things at their own farmers market. The other concept too with the farmers markets is that it wasn't meant to like make money. That's the problem when we talk about sustainability. It was meant for the students to make their produce accessible to the community at low cost. So our kids would be selling like 20 oranges for like 10 cents. You know, I know, you could go get a cabbage for 10 cents, right? I mean, they had the power to negotiate whatever they wanted. So we had kindergartners that are like, oh, take it for free, right? We have radishes, 5 cents, just take it, right? And it wasn't about us making money, but it was about the students getting the opportunity to engage with community in that way. Right, so I don't know if that answers your question, but we wish it could go. We do know it's a national program, and we have been partnering with other places in the East Coast that are interested in following some of our models. But uniquely, this was the first school district to actually have a farmer's market where students are growing their produce and selling it to community. There was a question in the back. Yes, sir.
All right, my name is Scott. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your resilience. I came up during time when you were in school, we had our own gardens. I came up in LA Unified School District, so I remember planting and eating my own food. So my question to you is, how do we as a community spread the word of the importance, especially when you have someone like a Bill Gates that is buying farmland to prevent us from eating healthy food? What can we do to spread the word and say, hey, this is what you need to do? Because I'm quite sure he's not doing it because he wants to help. So what can we do as a community to make sure that this is something that is spread around so we can live longer and eat healthier? My mother was a diabetic, so I understand that. I dodged the bullet. I don't have those things, but it does run in my family. How do we, what can we do to make sure that we spread the word so the generation coming up doesn't have these problems?
I think my short answer is, I don't know if folks heard of the Gangster Gardener?
I was just about to ask.
Ron Finley, do we know the story of Ron Finley? Yeah. I mean, he pretty much got not arrested, but he got like a citation because he built a garden like on that little sidewalk. He's right. Which is ridiculous. He fought it. In his words, he says, you gotta fight for it. Right? You gotta fight for it. Same thing with here. Land wasn't given to them, they just took it. And so we're gonna build it and we're gonna fix it. I think it's gonna take that kind of mentality. If you're thinking that, I'm telling you from putting the school board hat, I'm telling you that school boards are not thinking about, I think I'm gonna move this money and just put it so we can build more gardens, right? That's just not happening. So the reality is, I think the more parents, community members, students get involved, I mean, I'm saying this nicely, sorry, Dr. Chatterjee, but I mean, folks that why can't we have that here? I'd like to have a garden here, urban garden, where it's feeding people and students get access to food for free, right? But can we get more people involved?
Well, first I want to thank you for an amazing, wonderful documentary, and thank you for coming. But we do have a garden on campus by student housing. We got a grant from the Department of Agriculture. We really focus on indigenous food plants and medicine plants. I give so many tours. Jeanette has brought up to us, so many faculty there. John knows, John and I are there. And we planted a lot of fruit trees so people can harvest, so please contact me. I'm happy to give you a tour. And I would love our whole campus to be an edible campus. So,
Thank you.
inspiring for me.
Thank you for saying that, because I don't know if it still happens, but back when I came here, sometimes I would come to this school with just $2 in my pocket, and I would come to all classes, and you know those long days where you try to just stuff all the classes into one day, and sometimes $2, what feeds you? How much can you eat with $2? So it's important, maybe a way to let every student know that there's a garden that you can stop by, I don't know, grab an apple, grab a pear, you know, because if it's fresh, grab a, yeah, you know, an orange, whatever. Because trust and believe that if you are like me, that you got $2 in your pocket, and you're like, oh dude, what am I gonna eat with this? Because what can you buy with $2 now? Nothing. Even $5, go to the garden and get something to eat, you know. But to answer that question, what can we do? I think that each of us here are either gonna be future parents or leaders in the community. And so I think that first start with you and your familia. Start you and your children. Get them to grow, even in the little cracks like the video that they made. It's astonishing to me. Second of all, we are and I don't want to sound again like I'm motivating you, but I am. You are the future leaders of Southern California. And you can go out there, get into politics, get into change the laws, do what you gotta do, because I don't think it's looking any better for our future generations, I can tell you that. From back when I was a kid to now that I'm 44, I am those people that I used to blame for not doing anything now. And what am I doing? What are you gonna do in the next 10 years, 20 years? What are you gonna teach your children? So definitely get them, get involved with schools. Go talk to some of the, your ex-teachers from the schools that you went to, and be like, you know what, watch this short film, check it out. Spread the word, get the link, put it out there, put it on your social media. Get the film out there so that more people are inspired and more people have questions about why are we not being allowed to eat, or grow our own food. I live in Reno now, and just 2 years ago we bought a house, and I wanted to make sure, one of the things I asked God for was a piece of land for me to grow my vegetables. And I did. I mean, the last 2 years I've grown my vegetables, and that Mexican squash is resilient, let me tell you. It's we fed the whole neighborhood with Italian squash and Mexican squash. And really, verdolagas, how do you say verdolagas in English? They grow naturally. Peaweed? Peaweed. It doesn't sound like edible, but it's high in iron, it's great for, to prevent anemia. So things like that.
So many things, so I'm okay. I want to go see the garden. I want to bring my students to go see the garden. And I want to say too that they read an article in my class about different kind of medicinal practices. Sylvia Marcos is a Mexican ethnographer, and just having the sense that we have indigenous or medicinal knowledge that is the better option versus taking medicine in our Western medicine system. So, and I'm just like, I would love to see more spaces on campus where we had gardens, but it needs to be organized too. But one more thing too. Yeah, but the thing is, I was thinking about what about the summer? You have to think about the bigger picture. If you want it, we can think about it together. But the other thing that I think that you can do is, like, when you're in your neighborhood, do you see a lot of trees with fruit? Not really. Okay, well, I'm just saying that it really is, I have a heightened awareness that like, I will go around my neighborhood, collect fruit or ask people, cause sometimes people have trees, but they don't eat the fruit. Collect it, take it to the homeless shelter. You know, they don't have access, you know what, or just give it to the community. But I mean, I think that that's another thing that, just let's not waste food. People don't have access to food, and it really is important in terms of diabetes, in terms of all these different health issues. So, I'm so happy.
Absolutely. And you know, two quick things.
Yeah.
One of the things in our program, it wasn't just, you know, fruits and vegetables that were very more indigenous or native to Mexicanos. In certain schools, I'm thinking like the ones that, like Macy's, we did like bitter melon,
Sweetheart, bitter melon, what is the other? Some of the food that the students,
grow with their own families at home.
yes,
Right?
and they learn so much to have a different variety of different vegetables and fruits, because they're not used to only tomatoes, chiles, cilantro. No, we introduce them to different food, so they can learn culture through different kinds of food in different countries. So it was beautiful. One of the sweet shops that the kids said, "What is this?" So not only that, and we used to go get the vegetables from the garden, and we used to do some cooking lessons. So that way they can learn how to use those kind of vegetables, go home and eat it.
And also we have something called the Burrito Project. I don't know if folks have heard of it, but it's a project where we would donate our produce, and they would, I think like twice a week,
Yeah.
they would make burritos and they would go to downtown and distribute it to houseless camps, right? So there's a lot of things that
Our
can be done.
club wanted to do so many things for humanity, so many things that we did not have enough time. Wasn't enough, like you said, for somebody to have a garden very successful, I'm gonna say this, and very humble, I'm gonna say it. You need a person that really love to work with Mother Earth, that you have in your heart the love to help somebody else, and be constantly in the garden, because it is a lot of work. But to me, because I love that. Matter of fact, at my house, I still having all my vegetables. I go to my daughter's house and we all plant something, because this is inside of me, thanks to my grandma that put a seed inside of me to learn that. So yes, and when I walk over here on this campus, I say, because I'm thinking about all the students, you're right. You need money to come over here and eat. Wouldn't it be wonderful you guys have a garden where you can go get your own vegetables and eat a salad instead of having a potato chips or something so cheap? It would be wonderful. A beautiful dream, a beautiful dream. I wish I can have that time in the I would say that time to volunteer myself over here and run a garden. I wish I can do that. But unfortunately, I'm retired a long time ago, and I wanted to just enjoy the rest of my life. Okay?
We can visit the one.
I can visit your garden. I really do.
Are there any other questions? Yes, please. Did you want the microphone?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for everything that you've done. It's really fascinating. It's really cool that, that if it can happen in one place, it can definitely happen everywhere else. I can also imagine, why buy it from the markets, from the stores at much, at overpriced, when it has all the different chemicals that's already been in it with all the pesticides and everything. But my question is, my grandfather used to have a really long grapevine from like here to there, let's just say. And the birds would constantly come, the birds and insects would constantly come and chip away at it, eat it. And he started using pesticides, and they stayed away, but the taste was gone. It wasn't as good. Because I don't know, and I haven't done research, and since you guys are experts, you're specialists, I was wondering what is it that you can do in order to prevent that kind of, birds and insects from.
Naturally, you're not gonna like the answer.
I have two answers. For the insects, we taught the kids how to use soapy water and just spray it. Or take one insect at a time and move it to another place.
Not kill it?
Not kill it, okay? Relocate it to another place. And for the trees, because we used to have a lot of fruits, avocados, apples, pears, peaches, all the fruits in there. We were thinking about it. If the bird go and eat one or two fruits, it doesn't matter. They still have to eat
You know what I mean? They can, I used to tell my students, they cannot go to the market and buy the food, the poor birds. They have to eat it. That's okay, they eat one or two. Okay? I understand for the farmers, the one that they grow the food, take it to the market. I know they have to use pesticides because if not, they're not gonna make any money. You know, when you go to the market, you're trying to look for the biggest oranges and the biggest tomatoes and the more beautiful. Well, what the poor farmers had to do, they had to do that because in the garden, all the insects can go and eat your tomatoes. Our fruit was organic, the vegetable was organic because we did not use the students said they did not use pesticides because it's bad for you. But that's part of that, growing vegetables. You have to deal with that and you do the best you can. Put a lot of soapy water and kill it and nurture your plant like it's your own baby. Every day you gotta go and see and check the leaves, make sure that they don't have any insects in there. That's part of working in a garden.
We have
Did I
time for one
answer?
more question and then.
Make it good.
Right here.
I'm Bonnie, my sister, dale.
I am very sorry, but my English is not that good, but I'll try to explain. Okay? I'm very, very touchy for all this information because I want you to look at me, okay? I'm 55 years old, and at your age, I was 138. But because I came to this country with not knowing this information, even though in our rancho we ate healthy, being here, I seen the document, I seen what it says, the jungle. I came to a jungle. Seeing those kids eating junk food is what I became. And I don't want you, I want you to realize, all of you have parents, siblings, but I see you as the future parents. Your kids, you don't want them to be like me. My kids, I have 4 kids, and they're all overweight, and I'm fighting against for them to be healthy. Thank God it runs in the family, diabetes and heart attacks. So I don't want them to get sick. We are starting to get healthy, and I want to give thanks to whatever you believe in for you being here, because you need to be the change. Don't just make a change, be the change, because all of you have relatives, families, and by you bringing this information to your parents, you might make a change. I don't want your kids, I want the future for our community to be better. I am making the change. My husband used to be diabetic, but for eating healthy and using the herbs, the herbs that they're mentioning, he is not diabetic anymore. Even though the doctor gave him a bunch of pills, we're not taking those. And I became a nurse. I'm a nurse, and I stopped drinking the doctor's pills because I know I had to make a change. So what I want to thank you, Miguel, for that information. Thank you, Mrs.
Cachoy.
And for you, the document that you just did. I live in a town farm, but I don't have a place to garden my own vegetables. But that document just blew my brain, my mind. And I'm gonna do that, trust me. I'm gonna hang those little bags and I'm gonna garden whatever I can. But what I want you to take today is don't become one me. Be the beautiful you are by making and being the change. Please do so. We want, right now, the community, our children are diabetic, and I don't want my kids. And my youngest one is 18, like most of you. My oldest one is 30, and she was one of the students here. And I know, if she will hear me, she will want me to sit down and mom, please shut up. They don't want to hear that. Don't be like my daughter. Please take this information to your parents. I am very sure that your parents, your grandparents, will love to hear this information. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't be ashamed of talking to your parents. Tell them that they must make a change. Because we are the ones that you're following. We're mirrors to you. And if your parents don't make the difference, please do make the difference. Take this information to everywhere. And I would love to be part of this. And if I can volunteer.
Yes, talk to her.
And I was going to ask her if I could stop and eat those vegetables.
Yes.
But thank you very much. please be the difference. If you wanna change for your future, make it happen. So, because I know you're for a purpose here. You didn't just came because of how many students are in this convenience, in this college, and you were the chosen one. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Monique. Thank you so much. So I want to wrap it up by telling you this, okay? I'm waiting for my immigration status to be completely fixed because as soon as I become a legal resident, I'm running for city council in Reno. And you know, I'm telling, because you're gonna hear about it. And I'm telling you, you have to become the leaders of the future, whether in your family, your relationship, wherever you're at. And you know what I'm gonna do? First, the question I'm gonna ask is why don't we grow trees every single street? Home Depot over in Reno, this is not a commercial for them, they planted apples. Because Reno is seasonal, it snows and it's just crazy. I don't even know why I live there, but I love it. And you know what? Every year, since I discovered they planted apple trees for the community, I go and I get baskets of apples, delicious. So you have to go out there and make a change, be the leaders of the future. So thank you, Lani Kapchoy, thank you, Ms. Kapchoy, I love you. I really, really love you. Thank you for everything you did.
Can we get a big thank you to our
What's beautiful here is we have a great step because we have a seeds library here too. Take advantage of that, help to contribute, build, share it with families and friends, right? That's also a big step too that I think the
And go up
university's
there and
doing.
get them seeds, right? Right now, look at me.
Yeah, we're having a seed plant shop right now. right?
Yes, at 1:30, give us like 10 minutes to set up. There's also new gardening books by the board games upstairs, so if you're not sure how to get started, that's a good place as well. And thank you all for coming today. This microphone is